Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Beyond the Label, where we dive into all things, well, beyond the label. I'm Chris Orr, the Director of Sales Engineering here at Siegel Scientific, and it's been a hot minute since the last episode with all of the holiday activity going on, Thanksgiving and Christmas and all the shopping, all that stuff in full swing. So, this episode is going to be a little bit of a shorter one because I have not done quite all of my gift buying and have to get back out there and fight the crowds. So, setting all of that aside though, this is a great time to introduce our next cool label technology, RFID. RFID popped in my consciousness in the last few weeks when I began doing my Christmas shopping. I was in a Uniqlo, getting ready to check out at the cashier when I noticed that they had a new way of scanning the items in my hand. Instead of waving a barcode scanner over the tags, I simply had to drop the items into a bin, and there they were counted and my total was provided. If you think about it, the efficiency that this brings to the table is awesome. Not only do I not have to scan individual items one at a time, but the RFID scanner system can also disable the theft detection systems as well, so that I don't set off the alarms as I head out the door. For the retailer, it also ensures that I don't accidentally not scan an item. After I was done, I took a closer look at the hang tags on the shirts I had just bought and saw this. The hang tags had little RFID symbols in the corner. So, what is RFID and how does it work? Well, RFID is an acronym that stands for Radio Frequency Identification. Interestingly enough, it was first developed back in the 1940s as a way for the military to identify friendly airplanes that were returning to base. Today, they are used for all sorts of things, from tagging parts in a warehouse so that they can be easily found, or credit cards that have little wireless symbols on them that allow you to pay without touching the terminal, to even allowing you to use your phone to pay for your holiday purchases by simply waving it near the credit card terminal. That's right. Those tap-to-pay systems built into your credit cards are a form of RFID being used. Hell, even a lot of hotels use RFID now to let you into your hotel room. Across the country, toll booths can also use RFID to track your entrance and exit to a tollway. This allows drivers to pay the tolls without fumbling for change, which obviously speeds up the process and reduces the wait times at a booth. This tag, for example, can be read while I motor through at speeds north of 70 miles per hour. Don't try this at home, kids. Under the covers, RFID leverages a tiny memory chip and antenna that is embedded into a label or tag. That label is then encoded with whatever data is required by the use case. In my Uniqlo shopping trip, the tags were encoded with the product information that was required for the cash register to identify the shirt, its size, color, and price. Oftentimes you can recognize an RFID label when you hold it up to the light. You can see a thin metal inlay or what appears to be a wire of some sort coiled up in the paper leading to the small chip. To get super nerdy, we can talk about two of the standards for encoding the tags themselves. GS1, which you may recall from an earlier episode, also provides standards for barcodes, and ISO, the international standard. And in what will be an even more eye-glazing level of geek, here's a diagram of the kinds of data that gets encoded onto the tags. Of course, if you know what you are doing and have software like BarTender, you can encode them with pretty much anything you want. With over 44 billion RFID tags created in 2023 and north of 1 trillion expected by 2030, this does lead to a rapidly growing problem called tag clutter, which is represented in this picture, which displays the number of unreadable tags that were created in a 1-week period alone. This is why there is a third organization called the RAIN Alliance. RAIN's charter is to provide organizations that do not need to follow GS1 or ISO standards a framework to encode their tags in an easily identifiable way. So there you have it. RFID in a nutshell. I hope you found this shorter episode as interesting and entertaining as I found researching it. You are going to find RFID tags on more and more items, especially in retail. Speaking of retail, every year, the National Retail Foundation has a big show in New York in January. I will be there at the Seagull booth where we will be showing off BarTender's ability to print labels and encode RFID, as well as track inventory using Mojix's item products. Stop by and say hey. Otherwise, we will see you in the next episode of Beyond the Label.